What if I told you your brain doesn't care whether a thought is true or false? It only cares how often you repeat it. So if you repeat doubt, then you are wiring in failure. If you repeat confidence, then you begin to wire in success. So today I'm going to show you the secret science behind why your brain believes what you repeat and how to use it to reshape your reality. So before I explain why repetition rewires beliefs, let's just start with why your beliefs matter in the first place. So think of your beliefs like your blueprint. They are the foundation for every decision you make or don't make. And you can only rise as high as your dominant beliefs will allow you to. And let me show you why. And it's through something called the success cycle. So the success cycle is made up of 4 parts. And it starts with your beliefs. And now before I walk you through this, I just want to tell you a quick story. And it is about a runner called Roger Bannister. So who here watching has heard of Roger Bannister? He was the first man to run a mile in under 4 minutes. And at the time, people said this was impossible. Experts said the human body just could not move at that speed for that long. But Roger Bannister, he held a different belief. He had this internal certainty that it was possible. And because he believed that, he was able to train for years. He was fully committed to what he believed was possible. And on May 6, 1954, he did it. He ran a mile in under 4 minutes. And the most amazing thing about this is that it didn't just validate his belief, it changed everybody else's belief. It shifted everyone's belief about what was possible. And when other people began to believe, they began to achieve. It took just 46 days for somebody else to break this 4-minute mile barrier. And in the decades that have gone on since, more than 1,000 runners have gone on to do the same. And none of them who succeeded had enhanced physical qualities compared to any of the runners who had tried and failed before them. What made them different? They had enhanced psychological qualities. They had proof of the possible. And that proof, it gave them better beliefs, and so they got better results. And there is even a term for it in psychology, and this was a lazy day in the lab when they named this one, because it is called the Roger Bannister effect. And it shows that when you expand your belief in what is possible, you also expand your capacity to be able to achieve it. If you want to expand your own potential, you want to rewire your mind and unlock the limitlessness that exists within you, then click the first link in the description and join my Master Your Mind Accelerator program. And I would love to see you on the inside. I've spoken about Roger Bannister. So I want to now come back to the success cycle, because now that you know the story, it's going to make more sense to you. When I talk about the success cycle, it is made up of 4 parts, and it starts with your beliefs. The beliefs that you have affect how much potential you access, and depending on how much potential you access, it affects the actions that you take. And the actions that you take affect the results that you get. And the results that you get reinforce the beliefs that you hold. It is a cycle. It goes round and round all the time. And if you have limiting beliefs, you limit your potential, your actions, and your results, and you reinforce this cycle of limitation. But when you upgrade your beliefs, when you expand what's possible, you unleash more potential, you take more action, you get better results, and you reinforce the belief in what's possible. And that is how momentum builds. So beliefs are the foundation beneath everything. And if you know your beliefs are powerful, if you know that your beliefs drive your performance and your outcomes, your results, then the question is, how do you build belief? Now, most people, they do it backwards. They wait for evidence before they believe. You've all probably heard that saying, right? I'll believe it when I see it. We wait for evidence. When I get the results, then I'll feel confident. When I make my first high ticket sale, then I'll believe that I'm of value. When I get that speaking gig, then I'll feel validated. And that way, waiting for evidence before you believe, that is the hard way. That's the amateur way. And I don't say that with any shade. I say it because the pros, the top 0.1%, the Olympians, the 8-figure entrepreneurs, the elite performers, they do it differently. They build belief before their results. They train it, they condition it, they install belief, and they wire it in so that it lives within them before the world shows them the result. They have this inner certainty. And this isn't because it just makes them feel better, it helps them perform better and achieve more. And you know that now because you've seen the success cycle. To get better results, they build better beliefs. They install belief. And this is what neuroconditioning is. You're conditioning your nervous system, your subconscious, to believe the vision that you're trying to create. You tracking this? Is it making sense? So one way that they do this is through repetition. They say repetition is the mother of skill. And it's true. The more you do something, the more automatic it becomes. So you can think about learning to drive. First, it's overwhelming with the amount of detail, the mirrors, the signals, the braking, the accelerating, the clutch, the stick. But after repetition, after you do it again and again and again, driving becomes automatic. You don't even have to think about it. You just do it. It becomes a habit in your mind and your body. And beliefs, they are like a habit of thought, and your brain automates what you repeat. So every time you repeat a thought, you strengthen the connections between certain neurons. And this is Hebb's law, and you've probably heard it before. Neurons that fire together wire together. Now, at first, when you repeat a new thought, maybe it's something like, I am a confident, magnetic speaker who creates transformation in the lives of others. When you begin to say new things or think new thoughts, it can feel awkward. And it can feel like effort. And the way that we liken this to in psychology, it's like walking a dirt road. It is unfamiliar, it is untrodden, and it is bumpy, especially if it's not something that you actually currently believe. But the more you repeat it, the more you walk down that road, it becomes a smooth highway. And this is because your brain equates familiarity with truth. It's called the illusory truth effect. And they say, if you tell a lie big enough, loud enough, for long enough, eventually people will believe it. And that quote is actually credited to Hitler. And most of us tell ourselves lies all day. I'm not good enough. I'm not ready. And over time, we begin to believe these lies because we say them so often. They become the highways of our thoughts. And your brain doesn't judge the quality of the path that you're mentally building. It just reinforces the one you use most often. So if you practice self-doubt, your brain automates self-doubt. If you practice procrastination, your brain automates procrastination. If you practice fear, your brain automates fear. But if you practice confidence, resilience, courage, focus, gratitude, integrity, then that is what your brain will start to automate. That becomes your default. Repeat the story of your future, not the story of your past. Repeat what you want to believe, not what you don't. And the most amazing thing is once belief is wired in, your brain's reticular activating system, and don't worry too much about remembering that word. I talk about it a lot in other videos, but the only thing you need to know is that your RAS, your reticular activating system, it filters reality to match your dominant beliefs. And this is how you start bending reality in your favor. By rewiring your beliefs, you rewire your reality. And that is why the pros use repetition. They don't wait for belief to show up. They build it rep by rep. They know that when you rewire your beliefs, you don't just change your mind, you change your reality. So here is the challenge. What belief do you need to install to actually unlock your next level? And don't just think about it, engineer it, practice it, repeat it, because your brain believes what you tell it. And for high performers, this is one of the tools they use to be able to access peak levels of performance. This is not just positive thinking. This is targeted, intentional, neurological construction. So starting today, choose consciously. Become aware of the old unhelpful stories that you're telling yourself and interrupt them. And with relentless repetition, pave the pathways to the beliefs, the confidence, and the reality that you deserve and that you want. Your brain is always listening, so make sure that you are giving it something great to believe. My name is Jodie Jackson, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. My mission is to keep helping millions around the world train their brain for peak performance and for lasting well-being so they can achieve their biggest goals and build the life that they know they are meant for. So click the first link in the description if you want a quantum leap to your next level.